And there's still a lot more to come. You get more from Mazda.
For the most important two-year-old races in Australia, the Golden Slipper and the Blue Diamond look like being a match between an unbeaten colt and an unbeaten filly after yesterday's racing at Sandown. Melbourne's Canny Lad, the colt, and Sydney's Triscay were both in brilliant form, stretching their sequence to 4 wins. But it was an older horse who commanded centre stage at Sandown. Vo Rogue equalled the record of another great racehorse, Manicato, when he won the CF4 Stakes for the 3rd time. The victory was the 6-year-old's 25th, and he's earned a massive $2.46 million in prize money. The Orr Stakes brought together 3 of Australia's best racehorses. Vo Rogue, the Melbourne Cup runner-up Superimpose, and the Derby winner King's High. Vo Rogue's star had faded during the spring with a single victory at Randwick, and bookmakers bet generous odds, as much as 2 to 1. The Vo's jockey, Cyril Small, took him straight to the front, and on the home turn, he was travelling beautifully, with the 2 dangers chasing him hard.
At the 400-metre mark, and Vo Rogue out 3 lengths in front of King's High. Superimpose starting to wind up, and then Ma Wong and Hinch at the 200 though, and the Vo's over 3 in front of King's High and Superimpose. Vo Rogue in front with 150 to go. Superimpose doing the chasing, but the Vo is finding plenty. He's a length in front. Superimpose trying to peg him back, but go Vo, he's too good. Runs them off their legs again, the champ. Vo Rogue a length and a half.
Vo Rogue's fans gave him a great ovation, and senior owner Jeff Perry remarked he'd almost forgotten what it was like to be a winner.
See, I've nearly forgotten where the stall is.
He's now won this race 3 years running. He ran today the same time as he did in winning last year.
Well, that goes to prove that he hasn't lost anything, so, you know, everybody kept saying he might have lost it. You know, they had him in doubt a little bit, but I'm glad to see he showed him that he hasn't lost any of his old fight, you know.
What about his condition, Vic? Is he in the same nick as last year?
I would say he's in a better order, as far as I think he's had a better relax and a better preparation leading up to this autumn. I'd say he's got it a lot easier, and the horse has done a lot better. Therefore, he is carrying a little bit more weight than I suppose he was carrying last year.
Whilst the Vo Rogue camp were delighted with the win, Colin Hayes was far from discouraged with King's High's 3rd placing.
He's the horse that hadn't had the run, and he's carrying a lot of condition. He's quite a bit above his winning weight. So, you know, I'm quite optimistic about him.
In the Colts division of the prelude to the Blue Diamond, all eyes were on the unbeaten 2-year-old Canny Lad. He was sent out a hot favourite, and he always had the opposition covered when the pressure was on.
Clear 350 out. Heavenly Mover went to the front. Now Canny Lad gets out, goes out after the leader, followed by Siderman. Dubai Centre down the middle. Canny Lad moved up to Heavenly Mover, 250 to go. Then Siderman followed by Muraroa. Canny Lad's got his head in front of Heavenly Mover. Muraroa running home well, but the class colts drawing away Canny Lad. He's too good. Canny Lad a great win by 3/4 to Heavenly Mover, a half third. Here's Muraroa, then Siderman.
Melbourne Cup winning jockey Shane Dye is confidently looking forward to the Blue Diamond and the Slipper with Canny Lad.
I think he's better than he was in the spring. He's matured and he's a bit more stronger. And he's got a bit more natural ability, I felt, today than he had in the spring.
He's a real tradesman-like performer, isn't he? He's not flash or brilliant or even speedy in the run.
Looking at him and the way he races, that's correct. But when you're on him, he only does what he has to. You know, if he's 100 out and he's got a horse covered by half a length, he's happy.
The fillies division brought together 3 top Blue Diamond hopes: Sydney star Triscay, Magic Millions winner Dancer's Joy, and Zetate's sister Zetagal. Triscay was strongly challenged in the straight, but despite the weight disadvantage, she was very convincing in the final furlong.
Zetagal on the outside is going a little bit better than Triscay. They're starting to call on Triscay now. Zetagal and Triscay locked together, 2 in front of Wraparound. Then Ray of Sunshine. The fillies having a great war with 150 to go, and Triscay's got 3/4 now, a length in front of Zetagal. Wraparound coming home well, but Triscay, the Sydney filly, much too good. And Triscay wins by a length and a half. Second is Wraparound.
Mick Dittman was wrapped with the win, and he's certain Triscay will be even better when the big races are run.
I looked at her in the enclosure today, and I feel no doubt that she's got a stack of improvement in her just looking at her.
Really? And of course, her ability to go hard to the post will help her at the 1,200 metres of the Blue Diamond.
She's better suited, 1,200, you know, and she, as I say, she'll only go one, she'll just get better.
You ran, or the fillies ran, faster time than the colt, Canny Lad. Is that significant?
Well, it's always a good sign. You know, I've got a healthy respect for Kenny Ladd, and he's the type of horse that can pull out plenty too, and he's strong at the finish, so the 6 furlongs is going to suit him too. But you might be surprised how much this filly can improve come Blue Diamond Day.
Good tip there from Mick Dittman, Keith Hillier, our interviewer, and Brian Martin, the commentator there. And whilst Colin Hayes missed out on winning one of the big races in Melbourne, his stable enjoyed a day to remember in Adelaide. They quineled the $100,000 Swettenham Stud Stakes with Leica Western and Heavenly View, and his 3-year-old filly, Belle Chanson, thrashed her rivals in the $250,000 Australasian Oaks. As John Casey reports, it was a day of high drama at Morfordville.
Hasty Departure had been favourite for the Oaks for the past 2 weeks, but yesterday she was left standing in her box after stewards withdrew her because of injury. Media speculation about an injury had been laughed off by trainer Lee Friedman, but after 3 vets inspected the filly, she was found to be sore in the near foreleg and was scratched just 23 minutes before the start. The shock move switched most punters' eyes to the Colin Hayes-trained Belle Chanson. With the informed Gary Clark aboard, she was sent out favourite and never looked like losing.
They're off at jump with them, missing the start Corgi to some extent, and Yangery slow to begin. Our freeze frame is back in the early part, and so too is Market Heights. Over the 1800-metre crossing, and here the leader on the inside is Regal Style by a length and a half to Belle Chanson up in the firing line. Around the outside of those going 3 deep early was Swift Edition. Back on the inside, Mira Moore. Clayton Bromley got it beautifully positioned early. Pushing up in the centre between those, nicely posied, was Our Folly. Then a length and a half to 2 away came And Let It Begin, joining Edgecliff. 2 lengths away, Market Heights outside of Alleged Lady. A similar margin of some 2 lengths away behind those then to Loyal Lyric on the outside. Over on the inside of Loyal Lyric was Our Freeze Frame. 2 lengths to Tasteful Encounter. A half 3/4 back on its inside, Yangery. And last of all now is Corgi, working onto the side turn at the 1200-metre mark off the far side, and the leader gets away, Regal Style. 2 to Belle Chanson. 2 and a half away, third Swift Edition. Mira Moore fourth. They were followed in behind them by Our Folly. Over on the inside was Edgecliff. Bill Sharp giving it every possible chance. Just behind them, and Let It Begin from Alleged Lady, Market Heights, and Our Freeze Frame further back in the field. Behind those then came Loyal Lyric, who's lost a bit of ground. Around it, Tasteful Encounter. Corgi last, Yangery second last, just ahead of it. Regal Style coming down towards the 600-metre point of the turn, which will bring them for home, led by a half length to Belle Chanson, looming up ominously in the Schweppes Australasian Oaks. They were followed on the outside of those, making a bit of ground. Our Folly into the clear. Tasteful Encounter from back in the field, and with those Swift Edition hard ridden down on the rail, running about 5th, but not more than 2 and a half off the leader, Mia Moore, but it got a bump there. They were followed just in behind those then by Our Freeze Frame, but into the straight, and Belle Chanson has swept away with 200 a run. She's 4 or 5 in front. Coming after it now, Tasteful Encounter right down the outside. Alleged Lady and Market Heights are battling out the minors, but oh, Belle Chanson, home she goes. She wins by 6 or 7 lengths. It's interesting for the minors.
A jubilant David Hayes said he had never been so confident in a Group 1 race once the horses reached the top of the straight, but he did admit to having some doubts prior to the event.
Other than this winner, other impressive win was at 1,000 metres, and we really didn't realise we had a stayer on our hands till probably 6 weeks ago, so it's been a double surprise.
Successful jockey Gary Clark said the win was one of the highlights of his career.
These type of races, they're jockeys' ambitions to win for sure, the classic type races, and to win them for Mr Hayes is something even a little bit more special too, for sure.
John Casey reporting for Sportsworld.
And the race meeting in Sydney yesterday was abandoned after the 4th race at Rose Hill, and the big event scheduled there, the Frederick Clissold Handicap, will probably be run at Canterbury, weather permitting, on Wednesday. Let's take a break, and coming up shortly, a delightful Davis Cup story.
Crenshaw also felt at home on the cut surface to take a share of the lead with a birdie at the 13th.
Crenshaw joins the leader. It's a runner all the way up the hill, and it looks to have a good
Jack
speed.
Nicholas too was in fine form with this great chip, only to be let down with his putter.
Oh, well now.
Young Spaniard Sevi Ballesteros, who found it difficult to stay on the fairway, was unlucky when this long shot from the bunker spun off the green. But the unpredictable Ballesteros made yet another miraculous save by holding the putt from the apron to take the lead. Ballesteros continued his special brand of magic in recovering from the rough and even a car park to win the first of 2 Open Championships.
And Seve's now won 3 British Opens, the last in 1988 when he played one of the most famous final rounds in golf. In total, he's won 5 majors, the other 2, the US Masters. Thanks to Tim for his request, and if you'd like to see your favourite sporting moment, write to us, Sportsworld's Greatest Hits, Post Office Box 480, South Melbourne, 3205. And we'll take a break from Sportsworld and we'll be back in just a moment.